Let's talk about debt. It can feel like such a lifesaver when cash gets tight, but it can also turn into this monster that just eats up your profit and keeps you up at night. So which is it? Is debt a powerful tool that helps you grow, or is it a trap just waiting to spring? Well, over the next few minutes, we are going to figure out exactly how to tell the difference.
But before we really get into it, I want to give you something you can do right now. It's our tip of the week, the 30-day debt freeze. It's simple. Just make a commitment right now to take on zero new debt for one whole month. Seriously. Every time you're tempted, just write down the amount and then figure out an expense you can cut instead. It's an incredibly powerful first move.
So why are we having this conversation right now? What makes it so urgent? Well, with inflation doing its little roller coaster thing and tariffs changing constantly, a lot of businesses are really feeling the squeeze.
And that squeeze, it means your cash cushion, that buffer that lets you breathe, it's probably shrinking a lot faster than you think. And that kind of vulnerability, that's exactly when we tend to make bad decisions.
Because when you're feeling that pressure, those ads for instant online loans, or maybe just the idea of floating payroll on a credit card, man, they can look really, really tempting. That quick cash feels like a huge relief right up until the payments start hitting, and you just watch your hard-earned profit disappear.
To show you exactly how this plays out, I want to share a real story about how a quick fix can become a permanent anchor just weighing your business down. So I had this client, right? Great business, lean, profitable, the whole 9 yards. But one late payment created the perfect storm. A $60,000 check got delayed. Payroll was due on Friday. An online ad popped up, promising a cash advance in minutes. The owner thought, perfect, I'll just pay it back as soon as that check clears. But when it finally did, other urgent bills had already piled up. Next thing you know, a second loan was needed for taxes, a credit card got swiped to pay the rent, and before they even realized what was happening, the monthly debt payments had snowballed into the company's biggest expense. It was causing so much stress, so many sleepless nights. And the moral of the story is pretty simple, isn't it? What felt like a lifeline became an anchor. It's a trap, and it's dangerously easy to fall into. But here's the thing. Debt isn't always the bad guy. The key, the absolute key, is knowing exactly what you're signing up for. Before you even think about borrowing, you have to understand which of these 3 buckets that loan falls into.
So think of it like this. There are 3 flavors of debt. You've got investment debt, which is all about growth. Then there's timing debt, which is, honestly, it's a gamble. And finally, frivolous debt, which is just a flat-out trap. Let's break them down.
First up, investment debt. Now, this is what most people would call good debt. Its only purpose is to buy an asset that's designed to make you more money than the loan actually costs. But, and this is a big but, it has to be carefully calculated and stress-tested. A perfect example is financing a new service truck. Let's say, over the life of the loan, the total payments come to $120,000. But that truck is projected to bring in $200,000 in new revenue every year. See, the asset pays for itself and then some, adding pure profit to your bottom line. That's a tool for growth.
Next, we have timing debt. Okay, this is where things get dangerous. The idea is to bridge that gap between when you have to pay your bills and when your customers pay you. The problem is, timelines always slip. They just do. And when they do, the interest on that loan starts chewing up the profit you thought you made. This is exactly where that debt spiral starts.
And finally, we have frivolous debt. And let me be clear, this is never worth it. This is when you borrow money to cover routine, everyday costs like payroll or rent. Just think about that for a second. This kind of debt produces zero new revenue. The high interest and fees are literally like adding a second payroll to your expenses, but you don't get any new employees or work done for it. It's just a pure cash drain. Okay, so now that we know how to spot the different kinds of debt, how in the world do you get out of the cycle and take back control? Well, it boils down to a really simple 3-step plan you can start today. Freeze, reserve, and eliminate. This is your roadmap to financial control. First, we're going to stop the bleeding. Then, we're going to build a buffer so this never happens again. And finally, we're going to strategically knock out the debt you already have. Step 1 is to freeze. Yep, that 30-day debt freeze we talked about. You pause all new borrowing, period, and you halt any spending that isn't absolutely essential. Call up your vendors, see if you can negotiate longer payment terms. They'd much rather keep you as a customer. Every single dollar you manage to free up goes straight to paying down your existing balances. Step 2, reserve. This is how you make sure you never need timing debt again. You open a totally separate savings account, and you label it timing. Then, you set up an automatic transfer for 2 to 5% of every single customer deposit that comes in. In just a few months, you'll have built your own internal, completely interest-free fund to cover any cash flow gaps. You literally become your own bank.
And step 3 is eliminate, and we're going to use the debt snowball method. Here's how it works. You pay the minimum on all of your debts, but you take every extra dollar you have and you throw it at the one with the smallest balance first. The magic here is all about momentum. Getting that first small victory gives you this huge psychological win. You see real progress, and that motivates you to keep going. Then once it's gone, you take the payment you were making on it and roll it on to the next smallest one. It creates this powerful snowball effect that just wipes out your debt way faster than you ever thought possible.
So let's bring this all home. The goal here isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about regaining your peace of mind, your sense of calm, and your control over your own business.
You really have a choice here. Debt can be that trap that just drains your profit, cranks up your anxiety, and steals your sleep. Or, if you use it correctly, as a carefully calculated investment, it can be a powerful tool that funds profitable growth and adds brand new revenue.
The bottom line is this: you are in control. Freeze on the new borrowing. Start building your own timing reserve so you never have to run to a lender for those short-term gaps again. And then dismantle your existing debt with relentless, laser-like focus.
Your future self and your future balance sheet will absolutely thank you for it. So the only real question left is, what's the very first step you're going to take today?